Did you know over 60% of first-time clients do not return for a second visit? That is so painful, but it doesn't have to be that way. That's where Maya comes in. Maya is the ultimate marketing software for the beauty and wellness industry. We have a proprietary funnel utilizing special algorithms to help connect the right consumers with the right providers at your business. This means that Maya helps you get higher spending clients you love to work with who stay the long haul. If you want to increase your revenue, increase your client count, increase your average ticket, and increase your new client retention, then you need Maya. Go to joinmaya.com to set up your own personal virtual tour and see why over 500,000 consumers have trusted Maya and the businesses we work with to find their perfect beauty and wellness pro. We promise you will love Maya.
Thank you for joining me. This is Kati Whitledge with the Beyond the Technique podcast. It's Thursday, so we're together. Today we're talking about building a thriving salon. This can be applied to any business, building a thriving business. So what does it mean to be thriving? And everybody's going to define that differently. It might mean that you're growing your team, your revenue, your profit margins. You're helping your team accelerate their career, move to the next levels. Defining what thriving means for your business is foundational to this conversation. But I'm going to share with you what I believe is the foundation to building a thriving business. And it starts with building community. Building community. We build community through building building a place that everybody belongs, if a sense of belonging somewhere. We do this through shared experiences and cultivating authentic community. This doesn't happen on its own. We have to be intentional about cultivating community. So community is the essence for building a thriving salon. So I was curious, what are the core reasons that humans need and are innately built for community? And these are just a few of them. First is evolutionary survival. So early humans lived longer and reproduced more successfully in groups that shared protection, hunting, shelter, and resources. So just by being within a group helps you survive, and also brings protection from physiological harm. So belonging defends against anxiety, depression, hopelessness, loneliness. This is why I feel COVID was so destructive, is because it put so many people into isolation. And if you look around you, you might notice that there are people who just cannot get out of that. It is now the stronghold of their lives to stay isolated, and or a response to hard times. So meaning things are hard. What do I want to do? I want to retract and isolate myself. And that's like the worst thing we can do for our mindset. We really need community. We also have brain wiring for connection. We have mirror neurons in our brain, social cognition networks, and limbic resonance systems specifically designed to read emotions of others, build trust, and help us be attuned to others. To thrive as a human being, you need to be within a community. It helps with emotional regulation. Humans co-regulate, and our nervous systems calm down and stabilize through eye contact, presence, and touch. There's a reason that touch is one of our 5 love languages, but we live in such a sexual society that touch feels awkward, and really touch is what we need from an infancy on up. The minute we're born, we need to be held, and that's our innate sense of being protected and secure. So that's just so important to high five somebody. It's something so simple. We need that human connection. We are needing community because it's part of our identity formation. We understand who we are through belonging, through families, cultures, teams, shared values that help shape our personal identity. It helps with skill development. If we're not in community, we aren't around other people, their knowledge, different language, strategies, craftsmanship. This is all transferred socially. We're built for community because it helps with our longevity and health. Again, social isolation increases disease risk. It Being in strong relationships helps you boost your immune function. It reduces stress hormones and it lengthens your lifespan. I would follow one doctor, Dr. Mark Hyman, on social media, and he talks about actually the number one indicator for longevity is how well your relationships go. Like if you have great relationships in your life, and it doesn't need to be like this significant other or a spouse, like it can be like the relationships at your church, at your school, at your work, at your whoever, wherever you go, those relationships, if they're thriving, they're happy, they're more intimate, they're beyond surface level, is your number one way of saying, hey, this is going to help you live a long life. How cool is that? Being a part of community also gives us purpose and meaning. It gives us purpose and meaning to be a part of a community because it gives us direction. It helps us understand our role, our responsibilities, a shared mission that help us find meaning beyond ourselves. I think sometimes we live in a very depressed society because we're always thinking about ourselves. And when you really think about it, and I think this is something special we have in our industry, is the happiest I am is when I'm serving others. Time flies when I am in the moment helping other people out with whatever it is, being able to show up, use my natural talents, my gifts, the things that I am called to do. When I get to put that in practice for others, that's actually when I'm the happiest. It's not when I'm alone sitting around thinking about all the things that could be better about myself or my life. Like that's when I actually get depressed. So we are like, if you want a thriving salon, let's build a thriving community. We are made for community, and building a community starts with building a place where people feel like they belong because everybody craves this sense of I belong here. I fit in here. This is a basic need, but also a driver for your team retention, client retention. Clients aren't just buying services, they're joining a community. They want to feel like they're a part of your special business. You know, when you meet somebody and they have this incredible way of making you feel like you're their most important person that they work with or that they get to talk to in the day, they just remember special things about you. They check in, they reach out in unpredictable ways. It's just like having that type of community within your business for your guests and for your team. Ultimately, your team members will stay with you if they feel seen, heard, and this sense of connection. One thing I've learned in the last few months is just how important it is for people to feel understood. And especially women. Women are literally made to be able to say their feelings out loud to help process those feelings. They may not even land on this is how I'm going to go about things or this is what I will believe at the end of the day. I just need to say it all out loud. This is how I'm feeling right now. And just by sharing it helps them, us, myself included, find the answers. And we need that. We need that to be able to share that with one another. That sense of feeling like I've been able to share and I've also been understood. Now, understanding others doesn't mean you have to agree with everything that they are sharing with you, but it means you understand their perspective. You're listening and hearing them. They feel that connection with you. So I want you to think about, does your salon or spa feel like a place that people belong in, both your clients and your staff? Well, how do you know? And it's this level of engagement, it's reviews, it's retention. Pulling up your retention stats is a huge indicator of, do people come here and stay here because they feel like they belong? Are you encouraging this level of engagement by offering a sense of ownership to your team? Does your team get to help you decide on new policies, procedures, or help co-create new ideas and bring them to life? Little things like decorating. And by the way, thank the Lord for other people who are good at this, because I'm not the best at decorating, actually. I'm pretty simple, and I love when other people have that talent. So those are like little things. Do you remember one of our guests, Mandy McCullough? She has an amazing salon, I believe in the Seattle area. She's a high performance salon academy mentor. Um, just an amazing Redken educator. She like teaches the teachers at Redken, so very high up with L'Oreal Redken. And I had her on a podcast where she shared that actually the number one reason that stylists left a salon is they wanted their own space to decorate. And I was blown away by that. But when I thought through it, I was like, I kind of see that, because they're trying to create their own space. Now, for anybody listening who's thinking about going off on their own, I still say, what then? I think it's a form of isolation. It's very hard. The stats show that you are way less likely to stay a part of community, find a community to belong to, unless you go the route of, I'm going to be part of this product company and join their team of educators, or I'm going to always go out and take these different classes. But that's like the 3% of independence. I think that eventually you have to ask yourself, okay, you feel like you might have capped yourself in a commission salon setting. You're going to cap yourself even quicker in a solo setting, because you don't have community, and we are made for it. So, how can you influence and be the change at your salon that allows you to have those dreams come true for yourself? I bet you this, if you came to the owner and said, is there a way that we could do this really creative thing that helps us hit new goals? Um, it's a win across the board. It's a win for our clients. It's a win for the company. It's a win for myself as an individual, and anybody that hits this level where they've been here a long time and like come to the table. Cause I bet you owners are like going to be like, wow, thank you. I'd rather sit down and collaborate with you and think differently and creatively about how to get you to another level than you go to leave just so you can decorate your own individual space and do your own thing. And some people just have burnout. It's like, I've showed up for education twice a month for the last 2 years, and I just need a freaking break from that. I mean, I get it. So ask for it. And owners listening, be open to change. The only constant is change. And for anybody listening, I recommend a book called Who Moved My Cheese? It's so simple. It is so simple, and it'll take you an hour to read the whole book probably. But it is exactly the message we need as we're entering now, our first month of a new year, that change is the only constant. So being open to other collaborations, creativity from your team members, so that you don't cap yourself on how many years a stylist stays before they exit to decorate and be in their own space. It can be a win across the board if people are willing to talk about it. And that's where connection, being understood, is so important. And that if you have a place you feel like you can belong, I hope that you feel safe enough and secure enough to talk through some of these without fears. Oh, now the owner's going to think that I'm not happy and I'm going to leave, and it's going to be different. I'm going to be treated different. Like, I need everybody to soften themselves in this scenario and being open to just being understood and seeking to understand. All right. The next way we build community is going out of our way to experience life together. When you work with somebody, we'll call it like in the trenches, you're going to spend more time with them than maybe even your loved ones at home. So if you are working over 30 hours a week, that is true for you. And so, how do you create special experiences that builds trust among each other and deepens the bond of your relationship? And I always say, like, a couple things that I do that I feel are more intimate ways of having a relationship with other people is number one, breaking bread with them. So sharing food time, and it doesn't need to be this, oh, let's go out after work. When after work, you need to get home to your family, maybe. But maybe it's like, oh my gosh, I looked at the schedule today and this stylist and I both have 30 minutes during this time. I'm going to ask, let's have a smoothie. Let's just hang out and chat. That little moment here and there that can be super impromptu can be some of the most special moments that you have with one another. Maybe you set things up intentionally where it's like you're going to do team bonding events or volunteer events or even education. And why I bring up education, I think we're all really motivated to be educated. That's why you're listening to this podcast. But what are the in person experiences you can set up that build team, a bond and build trust? One of the coolest things we ever did was it was like called Fight Back Self Defense. And it was like this really interesting way of doing a self defense class and going through different scenarios that are A, very scary. B, here's how physiologically you handle this. You don't actually, fight literally back. This is how you physiologically get out of this predicament you're in and flee, flee to say. So instead of fight, we're going to flee to safety or whatnot. But if you had to fight, if you had to do something, what do you do? So it was one of the best experiences. I've done the class more than once, and it's something that we should revisit on a regular basis. Fortunately and unfortunately, like we need to have that in our back pocket to just be prepared for the unknowns. But what are those intentional exercises? If you bring an educator in, do they have to teach hair? Or are there educators in your greater area that are really creative in teaching um, wellness in a new way for your team? That would be really neat. Like, how many of you cringe when you look at a stylist and they're hunched over to do a haircut and you're like, pump up that chair, girl, you're going to have back problems, like we got to work on the ergonomics here. So there could be really unique ways that you offer education that provides team bonding or exercise or forms of movement that aren't going to freak everybody out and think they're running a 10K or something. So I think there's a lot that we can be intentional about. Um, just asking yourself, what are those shared experiences that you could introduce that your team would just be feeling like, oh, I feel more connected, whether it to be, and they don't have to feel connected to you. You want your team to feel connected to one another, to other leaders at your salon or spa. Even setting up intentional hair days. Like how many of you are like, I just need to get my hair done? What if, every quarter you had like, hey, whoever wants, show up. We're going to do a hair day and just help each other out. I mean, that is so much fun to have that set aside. And lastly, to really focus on building a community, because by building a community, you're building a thriving salon. You want to be intentional about cultivating that community. So it just doesn't happen by accident. You have to really plan this out, schedule it out, model it yourself, be accountable to upholding this as one of your values. When conflict does arise, to handle it quickly with transparency and care. And again, my number one lesson in the last few months is seek first to understand before you try to be understood. I see this play out all the time, and we do it to clients too, who they have an issue, and our first inclination is to explain. If I just educate them logically on this is how it goes, they'll understand. And it's like, no, they won't, because we're emotional and we want to be understood first. Don't even try to explain yourself. I don't care what the logic is. I just want to be heard. And if you've ever been in a relationship, married or whatever, right? You know what I mean? You get in an argument and that person wants to defend themselves, they want to explain, they want to be justified. That is never going to work because all you want is to be understood. And they bring up the surface level thing and you're like, that's not the thing. The thing is never the thing. So really seek first to understand. I think it's so important if you're cultivating intentionally this amazing community that you need to define and repeat your core values regularly. So you create your core values, you get fired up to share it with new hires, and then what happens? They're in they're in their role, they're getting trained, they're doing their thing, and then a year later, if you're like, "Hey, just out of curiosity, tell me our 5 core values at our salon or spa." How many of them could tell you? Not many, unless you are in the habit of sharing those regularly, and not just sharing it, because you might say one of our values is mentoring. But if you don't define mentoring, they may not know what that means. And really, mentoring in our salon means every single person that works here is a mentor. I don't care if you're a level 1. You might be mentoring a level 4 on something that you learned in high school when you watched a YouTube video and it was a special trick on how to do your makeup a little bit better or different. And I want you to be empowered to share that with somebody, no matter what level of experience they have, and that they be open to it and interested and excited, and vice versa. I've seen, you know, junior stylists or even protege, associate stylists, they're only there, let's say 3 months, and then a new hire comes in, but they have this sense of like, well, I belong, right? And they have confidence. And they now show the new person, oh, here, let me show you how I was taught. And this is something cool that I do. That right there is mentoring, and that's empowering your team. And so if you define what mentoring is or whatever your values are, define them, share them regularly. Now, how do you share them regularly? So at our salon, we do a weekly bulletin. This is digital. So in between our monthly in-person gatherings, we just do 1 hour with the entire team once per month. We make it very, very valuable. We're not just sitting there and sharing like, oh, this promotion's coming up and this person did awesome in retail and here's a good review that came through. That all happens digitally every single day. But we're looking for in team meetings or a way to experience and grow together. So we really go out of our way to make our in-person meetings kind of a how do we go hands-on somehow? Or we get in groups or we all share feedback or we go around and do takeaways of a topic where we're bringing up something new that helps them leave with learning or feeling inspired. So they either leave with new information or new inspiration. How can that happen for every one of your in-person events? And then in addition to that, our weekly bulletin is where we go and share little reminders. Hey, this is the upcoming education. Hey, let's give a shout out to this new person that just joined our team. Yes. Hey, congrats to this mama to be who's about to head on maternity leave. Or, it's that space where we just every single week stay in front of people. Well, let me just encourage you to remind people of certain policies, procedures, values, like any of those little things that they probably forgot. What are the things that we can remind the team? Little things all the time in bite-sized pieces so that they're like, ah, that's right. This is how we handle that or this or whatever it is. So, what is a one step you could take this week to actively cultivate a stronger community in your salon? And I would just encourage you, like, if you have a digital platform where you connect with people, and this isn't like a text message thread, because if it's a text, people feel like they have to pay attention to it. This is my personal text, but I would encourage you to have a really professional digital platform. So we use a platform called Asana. It's Asana, and it's an awesome place to communicate with each other, track projects, assign tasks. It is very robust. And what is one thing every day that you're open, one positive thing that you could put into your digital platform? So if I'm off today, I probably won't see it today, but I'll see it the next time I come in. That's what I'm talking about. And it can be little things. Here's a positive review that came through for this person. Hey, shout out to this new hire who just took on 20 new appointments this week. Slayed it. rebooked this percentage of them. I mean, like, there are things that you can find every single day to shine a light on your team. And I would encourage you to sometimes pick things that are not obvious. It doesn't have to be based on just performance, it can be based on character, being kind, generous, thoughtful, and really finding something about everybody. So I'm not the parent who likes to give out trophies to every participant because winners are winners and sometimes you're going to lose and that's okay. It's okay that you walked away without a win, but we did come here to win. So if we didn't win, we're not getting the trophy. Period, right? Like I'm that kind of parent. However, in our companies, it is okay to find there is something in everybody because everybody on your team is a winner. And if they're not, you got to question what's up with that. But everybody on your team is a winner. You handpick them, you invest in them, you put your leaders in place to help build them up. So there's something in everybody that you can choose at any given time to shine a light on them. So let's recap. Building a thriving salon, any business, really depends on the strength of the community that you built. We are made for community. We need community. Community is not going to happen by accident. We have to be intentional. We have to create a space that everybody feels like they belong. And we really need to experience life together because we are. And it should be awesome. We're in such a fun industry. It should be the fun thing we get to go do. And we take it serious. We want to be successful, but it's like winning the game. We come in, we do our best. Some days we slay and, win by 30 points. And some days we barely win, but we did it. And but we're all in it together. We have each other's back. That's the fun of this. And it should be fun. So I hope you feel inspired and just asking yourself, hey, out of all of what I've just heard, what could I implement, this week that could make an impact on cultivating an awesome community where people feel like they belong and we can all thrive together. Until next time, everybody, thank you for being here, for your commitment, for your listening to Beyond the Technique. I appreciate you. Have an awesome day and stay strong.